Today, we're going to be using watercolor and a masking fluid to be able to create this flower that you see here. This winds up making a great card for a get well soon card or a happy birthday card or a Mother's Day card if Mother's Day is coming up. So think about it, try to make this look nice. We're going to try to have a high quality. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw the flower. You want to draw really lightly. I'm drawing a little bit harder here so that it shows up better onto the screen, but you want to draw really lightly. You can see here that I started off by tracing a circle, the size that I wanted it to be, and this helps me make sure that the flower is the right shape. Now, flowers are all different shapes, so if you want it to be a not complete circle or kind of flopping over, that's fine too. But make your flower, try to make it look nice. I try to take up a big amount of the space for mine. I don't always do that, but I think this is a good look. It's the easiest way to make the flower in this technique because it's not going to be so small that you have to keep your watercolor lines in. You can see here that I'm trying to erase all of my drawing, but not so much that I can't see it. But any extra lines I want to erase completely. Now I'm starting with the masking fluid. I'm using a metal stylus to do this. If you use a paintbrush, it will ruin the paintbrush. Some people still prefer the paintbrush, but in this class, I don't want you ruining paintbrushes, so we're going to use the metal stylus. It works better, honestly, in my opinion. You dip the stylus in, and then you just cover up all of your lines that we've drawn. If you want the line to be thinner, you kind of have to press down lightly and kind of bring your stylus up so that it's barely touching the paper, or kind of create a little slashing motion. That way it gets thinner as it comes off the paper. Once you have the entire thing traced in the masking fluid, it's going to take about 30 minutes to dry. And then once it's dry, we can paint over it completely, a whole background. We can do a watercolor wash over the whole thing. It also kind of allows the watercolor to stop where you want it to stop. Here we're watching a professional do this very technique. He uses masking tape in the big parts of it, but then he uses masking fluids around the edge of his drawing where it's smaller. Then he creates an entire wash and he peels the masking fluid off. This preserves the white paper underneath and the painting that he's already painted that he doesn't want the blue background to be on top of. Then that allows him to repaint the white paper underneath or add to the painting where the face is at. So that's what we're going to do now. Now we're going to paint the background. Instead of doing a complete wash, I just allowed this to be a boundary for me. I painted the background a nice dark blue. Remember that watercolor gets lighter as it dries, so you might go a little darker than you think it's going to be. That way when it dries a little bit lighter. Then I start to paint the inside. I go ahead and put one layer down, let that dry for the shadow side, and then I add in whatever colors I want for the petals. You might want to make yours orange or pink or blue, whatever. Blue might not be the best because of the sky, but whatever color you want yours to be, make sure to let the watercolor do its thing. Do a wet on wet and let the two colors mix together. Then you can see here, once it's dry, after about 35 to 45 minutes, because watercolor does take a long time to dry, then I can rub off all of that masking fluid, and it reveals the clean white paper underneath. Now, when you do this, you want to make sure that the masking fluid and the watercolor is completely dry, and watercolor can take up to even 3 hours if you used a really wet technique, but have that in mind because as you peel off the masking fluid, it will tear up the paper. Then I simply outline it with pen and try to make it look nice and finished, and then I peel off the tape, and that reveals my finished piece. When you peel up the tape, you're going to want to start with whatever tape is on top. And so find whatever is on the very top piece, and then you want to peel it back and onto itself nice and slowly. And that way, if the paper rips, it's pulling away from the center of the artwork. So you don't pull the tape back towards the artwork or straight down. You want to pull it kind of away from the artwork. Once this is completely finished, you can write a sweet note on the back of it, and then you can give it to someone that you love.